Hi guys, welcome to the CS Classroom. This is going to be the first in a series of tutorials for completing basic tasks in Python called Python Shorts. These are basically really short videos, or relatively short videos. And the topic of our video today is going to be generating a CSV document in Python. So CSV documents are basically documents where all the data is separated by a comma, and it can act as a spreadsheet. So you can, once you generate a CSV document, you can then open that up in Excel or any other spreadsheet program. These are often used for storing and outputting large data sets in Python, which is quite a common task. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing we're going to do is import Python's CSV library, which is included with the Python programming language. Next thing we're going to do is create some dummy data. So we're going to create a one-dimensional array with our headers, or the column titles. Remember, this is a spreadsheet with columns and rows. So we're going to create the titles for our columns right here. And today we're just going to create a simple CSV file that will hold some contact information of different people, or rather some personal information. So we're going to have name, nationality, and email address. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create some data to put into that CSV. So we're going to create a variable called data, and we're going to create a two-dimensional array. So we're going to have an outer array, and then we're going to have a number of inner arrays for each row in that CSV. So we're going to create John. We'll say John is from America, USA, and then we'll give John an email address of john@gmail.com. And then we'll have Ivan, and Ivan is going to be from Russia, and his email address is going to be ivan@yandex.ru. Notice these are in the same order as the headings, so that the names, the nationalities, and the email addresses are all in separate columns. Okay, cool. Now that we've done that, let's get into actually writing to a CSV file. So the first thing we're going to do is create a variable named file, and this is going to hold our connection to our CSV file. So we're going to have the function open, the name of our CSV file, which will just be contacts.csv, and then we're going to have w for write. This means that this connection is going to allow us to write to a CSV file. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create an object that will do the actual writing. So this line right here, in this line we've created a connection to that file. Here we're actually going to create an object that will allow us to write to that file. So we're going to create a variable called writer equals csv.write, and then the variable file. So we're basically taking this connection, inputting it into a function called write that comes from the CSV library, and then we're storing that in a variable. Now we're going to use writer to actually write data to our CSV. So you've got writer we've got writer.writeRow to write an individual row, and then we're going to just write our header. So the first thing we're going to write into our CSV is going to be headers. That's going to be the first row. Next, we're going to have writer.writeRows with an S to write multiple rows of data into the CSV file at the same time. And here we're going to put data. So if we wanted to, we could have just used only this and used some kind of loop to write these into our CSV file. But this is easier because this just immediately allows us to write multiple rows of data in the form of a 2D array into our CSV file. And the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to close our connection to that file. File, close. So let's go ahead and run that just to make sure that it worked. Looks like we've got an error. Module CSV has no attribute write. Right, it shouldn't be write, it should be writer. Cool, okay. Let's try that. Interesting. Went to create the CSV, but it didn't write the data because of that error. So we'll delete the CSV, and let's go ahead and run that again. Cool, we've got a CSV, and we've got our first row, name, nationality, email address. Then we've got our contact information, which we've successfully put into our CSV file. Now this just looks like a data file with some commas, but go ahead on your own, try and open this up with Excel, or you could even use Google Sheets, and you will see this nicely organized into columns and rows within whichever software program you decide to use. So I hope this tutorial is useful to you. I tried to keep it, I guess it's going to be about 5 minutes. I tried to keep it shorter than my normal tutorials. Maybe I can shoot for something more concise next time. Anyways, have a nice day and happy coding.